Hi, Emil. It's Mr. Roberts. I hope you're feeling a little better. So I thought maybe I'd make a little video for you that works through the questions that I asked you to complete, following the steps that we were using yesterday, these 6 steps. So to remind you, we're looking at the odd numbers on this page. And I'm going to write down the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the left here, and I'm going to just put a tick next to them as we go through to help us keep track of which step we're on. I would like you to try to do the same when you're working through these questions yourself. All right. So let's look at question 1. It says 26 is equal to 8 plus v. Okay, and we need to find out what v is. All right, so we're going to start with step 1, pardon me. Step 1 says, which number is on the same side of equals as the letter? Okay, so if this is the equals sign, and these are 2 different sides, which number is on the same side as the letter? The letter is V, the number is 8. So for 1, instead of a tick, I'm actually going to write the number 8. So that way if I get distracted later, I remember the answer to that question was 8. All right, and next is we have to ask which operation. What's happening? Is it an adding question, a subtracting question, timesing, or a dividing question? And I look and I see, oh, there's a little plus here. Okay, so that means this is an adding question. All right, and so I'm going to write a little plus here instead of a check, just for the first 2, so that again, if I forget what step I'm doing, I can just refer to this list and remember that adding and 8 were the answers to the first 2 questions. Okay, cool. Moving on. Step 3 is we are going to do the opposite operation on both sides of the equation, of the equal sign. So the opposite of adding 8 is taking away 8. So I'm going to take away 8 on the left, and I'm going to take away 8 on the right. That's the opposite of adding 8. Okay. And we're going to cross out any opposites. So we talked yesterday about this idea that on one side there's going to be 2 things that cancel out that are the opposites of each other. In this case, it's adding 8 and taking away 8. Okay, so that's step 4. Oh, I forgot to tick off step 3 as we went. All right, step 5. Okay, now we can use a calculator. So we look and we see, okay, what we've written is we wrote 26 take away 8. So I'm going to write in my calculator 26 take away 8. It's very important I didn't do 8 take away 26. The order matters. We go from top to bottom. 26 take away 8. That gives us 18. So again, 18 on the left, and there's that equal sign, which kind of stays in the middle. 18 is equal to, and on the right-hand side, all I have left is V. I just realized I forgot to tick my step 5, which was I use a calculator, and the last step is to write the answer. The answer is 18 is V, or V is equal to 18. Either way you look at it. Okay. Moving on, we're going to try and repeat this process for the next few questions, okay? And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably don't need those little dots. All right, so first question again is which number is on the same side of equals as the letter? So I look, I see the equal sign here. The letter is B. The number on the same side is 15. So the number is 15. Number 2, which operation is happening? Well, I can see a plus there. That is a positive. It's an adding question. So I'm going to do the opposite operation on both sides. So I'm going to do the opposite of adding 15. Opposite of adding 15 is taking away 15. So I'm going to take away 15 from both sides of the equation. And now, so that's step 3 done. Step 4, gotta cross out any opposites. So rather than worry about getting 2 answers when I put 2 sets of things into the calculator and maybe getting confused when we do that, we'll just cross out that the 15 and the take away 15. If you have 15 and you take 15 away, that leaves you with nothing. We don't need to write it anyway. There's nothing left there. All right, and so that's crossing out the opposites. Step 5, we're going to use a calculator. So you can take out your calculator And we see the question says 23 take away 15. 23 take away 15. And that leaves us with the number 8. So that's a calculator step. And the last step is write the answer. And so the answer is B is on the left. It's equal to this number on the right, 23 take away 15, which is 8. So we're just going to write 8 here. B equals 8 is the answer. That's what B is. All right, moving on. So we'll go through these again. Which number is on the same side of equal sign as the letter? That'd be number 4. So my answer for number 1 is 4. Okay. Number 2, which operation? It is, again, an addition question. So what's the opposite operation of adding 4? It's going to be taking away 4. So we're going to take away 4 from both sides. Okay. Okay, so it's done. Cross out any opposites. Okay, so we have a plus 4, take away 4. Those cancel each other out. And then we're going to use a calculator. And it says negative 12, take away 4. So we're going to put in negative 12, take away 4. And that gives us negative 16. Okay, so the calculator says negative 16. So on the left-hand side, I have left an m, and that's equal to negative 16. M is equal to negative 16. Okay. And that's the answer written down. All right, for number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, what number is on the same side of equals as a letter? Okay, so we've got a little equal sign here. On the same side of my letter is the number 9. 9 is on the same side of the equal sign as the letter. And which operation is occurring? And that looks like, I look here and I say, oh, there's a subtraction between the number and the letter. Now, it's not a subtraction question because there's a subtraction minus over here. That actually just indicates it's a negative 13. But this negative between the letter and the number, and that's where we're always looking, between the letter and the number. And we can see the operation between them as a negative. Okay. Now we're going to do the opposite operation on both sides. So the opposite of taking away 9, adding 9. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. Okay. We're going to cross out any opposites, which are negative 9 and positive 9. And, oh, sorry, I forgot to check these guys. Step 5 is a calculator. So calculator, so it says negative 13 plus 9. We put that into a calculator. Negative 13 plus 9. And negative 13 plus 9 equals negative 4. So lastly, I write the answer. M on the left-hand side and negative 4 on the right-hand side. M is equal to negative 4. Okay. So we'll move on down the list. Okay, now I think we're starting to memorize the list, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on the writing so we don't have to frame the list and the question at the same time. But I'm going to run down the list as we go still. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust the focus here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to write the numbers down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So step 1 is which number is on the same side as the letter. That's the number 15, right? So 15 is on the same side. Which operation? Okay, so that is, it's a subtraction here. So we're going to subtract a number. Okay. And then we say, okay, well, step 3 is we're going to do the opposite operation on both sides. Opposite of taking away 15 is adding 15. So we're going to add 15 on both sides of the equation. Adding 15. Okay. Next, we're going to cross out any opposites. Okay, so We have a negative 15 plus 15. Those are opposites, so they cancel out. And then we use a calculator. Okay, so we say, hey, calculator, what is negative 27 plus 15? Negative 27 plus 15 is negative 12. So then step 6 is write the answer. V equals negative 12. Okay. Moving on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. So we're going to start with what number is on the same side as the letter, right? So that's the first question. Which number is on the same side of equals as the letter? So here's my equal sign. What number is on, where's my letter? My letter is X. The number next to it is an 8. So there's an 8 next to it. And okay, the next question asks which operation? Is it an adding, taking away, multiplying, or dividing? If I look, I might be tempted to say this is a subtraction question. However, there is no subtraction between the number and the letter. That is just indicating that this isn't the number 104. It's the number negative 184. However, the symbol, the operation needs to be between the number and the letter, and there isn't one. But we know that whenever there isn't one perfectly written for us, we know that that means multiplication. There's a little multiplication symbol here, or times symbol. All right, so I'm going to write down 2 as just a times symbol. Okay, step 3. What is the opposite operation that we're going to do on both sides? The opposite of timesing x is dividing, opposite of timesing by 8 is dividing by 8. So we're going to divide by 8 on the left, and we're going to divide by 8 on the right. You know what? Actually, I think, if I remember correctly, Elijah, you prefer if we write the symbol divide instead of this line. I think. And so I'm going to write the symbol divide here as well, just to be extra clear. All right. So then we're going to cross out any opposites. All right, well, timesing by 8 and dividing by 8, they're opposites. That's why we did them. Okay. All right, then we move to a calculator, step 5. Oh, I haven't been checking along, so we did step 4. We're on to step 5. And the calculator says, well, we're going to put a negative 104 divided by 8. Divided by 8. And that tells us we're getting the number negative 13 as an answer. And so for step 6, we're going to write the answer, which is, this is all equal to negative 13. And this x just carries on down, it comes on straight down. And we get x was equal to negative 13. Okay. Moving on. All right, last one on this page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, Emil. First question. Which number is on the same side of equals as the letter? So that's my equal sign. Looks like number on the same side as my letter B is the number 18. So number 18 is on the same side of the equal sign. And what operation? Well, there's a little line here with the B on top and 18 on the bottom, meaning that they're a fraction. Now, what that really means is that B is being divided by 18. So it's a division question, dividing by 18. Now, what's the opposite operation that we're going to do on both sides of the equation? So the opposite of dividing by 18 is multiplying by 18. So we're going to multiply by 18 on both sides of the equation. We're going to cross out any opposites. Opposites are dividing by 18 and timesing by 18. They're opposites. And so the next thing is we go to a calculator. And calculator, we say, okay, calculator, we're taking this negative 6, we're multiplying it by 18. So negative 6 multiplied by 18, that gives us the number negative 108. Okay. So step 6 is we're going to write the answer. This whole thing turned into negative 108. And over here, we just have a b left over. So negative 108 is b, or b equals negative 108. All right. Moving on, Emil. Question number 15. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, we're going to start with, well, what numbers on the same side of equals as the letter? Well, if this is our equal sign here, the number on the same side as our letter, well, our letter here is V, and the number on the same side is the number 8. All right. And then the next question we ask is, well, which operation is happening here? And this is a division. It says V divided by 8, so it is a division question. All right. So the next thing we say is, well, what's the opposite operation? And we're going to perform that on both sides of the equation. So the opposite of dividing by 8 is multiplying by 8. So we're going to multiply by 8 on both sides of the equation. We are going to cross out any opposites. Okay, so the opposites are timesing by 8 and dividing by 8. They're opposites of each other. Okay, next step is the calculator step. So we say, well, calculator, what is 2 times 8? Actually, maybe you know this one, Emil, but I'm just going to check it in here just in case. That's 16. Okay, so we're done here. And the last thing is to write the answer. So we're going to take this V and write it straight down here. It'll stay on the left side of the equation. And the answer to the question, 2 times 8, is 16. V is 16. Okay. Now, I believe the last 2 questions I asked you to do were 21 and 25. I'm just going to double check that, actually. I want to make sure I'm writing down the correct questions for you. There we go. 21 and 25. Great. That's right. I think. I'm also double checking Google Classroom. 21, 25. Great. Okay, cool. Sorry. Okay, so we'll look at 21. We're going to go through those 6 steps. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Question 1. Which number is on the same side of equals as the letter? So we've got the letter here is a K. That's the equal sign. It looks like the number 14 is on the same side of the equals as K. Okay, so that's the number 14. And then the next question is, which operation is occurring? Okay, and the operation that is happening, again, is not a subtraction. We're looking for the symbol between the number and the letter. And the number and the letter, there is nothing written here, which means there's a hidden multiplication. Or it's a times, in other words. It says 14 times K. Okay, there's a times question. All right, for step 3, we're going to do the opposite operation on both sides. What's the opposite of timesing by 3? Opposite of timesing by 14 is dividing by 14. So we're going to divide by 14 on both sides of the equation. And then we're going to get, so that's doing the opposite. I jumped ahead there. I crossed out opposites of multiplying by 14 and dividing by 14. But actually, that was step 4 to cross out any opposites. Sorry. Came second nature after a while. Okay, and then step 5 is our calculator step. So now we can go to the calculator. And we can say negative 126 divided by 14. Well, how big is that? So we got negative 126 dividing by 14. Oops, there's a little bit of glare. and we get that it's negative 9. So we've done our calculator step, we got this negative 9. So that leaves us with negative 9 on the left-hand side, because negative 126 divided by 14 just is negative 9, equals, and we have this value k that's left over on the right-hand side. That's the one that didn't cancel out. And that's our answer. Negative 9 is equal to k. Okay, and last question. All right, and that's question number 25. Okay, so first thing we're asked is which, oh, right, I gotta write those numbers down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dot, 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 dot. All right, what number is on the same side of equals as the letter? So here's my equal sign. Here's my letter X. Number on the same side of equals is 15. So the number 15 is on the same side of the equal sign. Which operation is occurring? Well, that is a subtraction here, so it's a minus. What's the opposite operation? We're going to do that on both sides. Opposite of taking away 15 is adding 15. Adding 15. Adding 15. Okay. Next, we cross out any opposites. Crossing out the opposites of negative 15 and positive 15. And so that, then we go to a calculator. Next, we're going to say, well, what is that equal to? Negative 17 plus 15. Okay, so we got negative 17 plus 15. That tells us a value of negative 2. Negative 2 is equal to x. Oops. So negative 2 is our value for x. Okay, Emil. So these are some example questions that I think it would be, your goal should be to be able to perform these questions. You can use any resources you want, like this if you need to, or a calculator, but the goal is to take any new question that comes across and be able to do it. That's the place we want to get you to before we move on to, say, two-step algebra, is making sure you can really comfortably do one-step algebra, which is the one step is adding 15 in this case, and then we're going to build upon that. So if you want some extra practice, Emil, extra practice, I'll write that here. If you want extra practice, okay, so there's a lot of good questions on here. And I would say if you feel like you need extra practice to make sure you can be 100% on these, I would say question 16 is a good one, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, and 30. So you can also turn to these questions if you feel like you need extra practice. And the answers are, well, you should actually have a sheet that has the answers on it. But if maybe you misplaced it, there in the digital file on Google Classroom that these questions came from, the second page of that file has the answers. So answers are on Google Classroom in the original, what did I call it? I'm going to use the same words here. Once in the original one-step equations practice PDF. Okay, so there's all written there as well. So if you want the answers for any question that I didn't solve for, well, they're all in the original document, so you can find them there. All right, Emil, so I hope that helps. I hope to see you again sometime before Monday if you can, but if you're sick, well, that's the way it is, and I really hope you get better. All right, take care, and have a great weekend, buddy.